And welcome back to the hottest marriage show in our household to date. I am John D, aka Too Much, and this is my better half.
It's Kanika,
aka Do, and we are doing Too Much podcast. I'm glad I can make you laugh. How are you doing this morning, young lady?
I'm doing well, thank you.
It's awesome. Today is 11/11/22. Today is, I guess, the anniversary of our release season of Doing Too Much podcast. 60 plus episodes. What can you say that you've learned about me or us or as parents over the course of a year?
I learned how quickly things can change. Perspectives on marriage, I've learned how quickly things can change on, like, we've always talked, but we've never purposefully sat down and had conversations the way we have this year. And this 1 year has been so different as far as growth with you and I versus every other year before. So that was a big change.
So when you say change, just to give the audience a better idea, like, what does that look like?
I'm just saying, like, the recovery time from arguments, what we will argue over, how to resolve issues. We definitely learned how to parent a new personality that was difficult for us before. Like, we changed our approach to Darius this year, and that was so much different than when we had him the first time. And just seeing how changing your perspective or your approach can really, really change the entire, way that everything plays out. Even with Day and Dallas, seeing them grow and change what they're interested in and showing more interest, or like, you jump gung-ho into everything this last year, like with Dallas and German, you jumped right in, and now Dallas and archery, you jumped right in, and I think it makes them feel so much more connected to you. Whereas with me, I'm the one that will take you to go get a drink you like or pick up something you want, and have little quick conversations, but you are very purposeful in how you engage with them and making sure that they know that you're there. And so I can see the difference in how they interact with you.
Yeah.
And I like that.
I didn't even think about it until, like, the parts that you add as a parent. The reason why I'm purposeful is because nothing comes second nature.
Yeah.
So as a father, what I was doing before was pretty much just doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing and didn't realize I could do more. But now I saw the things that I was doing. It wasn't enough, and it didn't help you enough.
Yeah.
And just reflecting, the largest growth that I like over the year is our relationship. I love myself, the parent that I'm becoming, but I feel like I've grown more as a partner in this marriage, where I believe you understand my sincerity of wanting to become a better husband. And I think even though sometimes you look confused, I feel like it's just a part of the process. Like, I know a lot of times you ask me or say, am I happy, because you feel like maybe it's not being reciprocated. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because I know that there was a more innocent you before our journey of just me being a man that allowed you to become that person. And I know the heart that you have. And I'm like, if I just keep doing what I do, it'll change your perspective and your behavior. So I bet on myself in this whole entire process. And I'm still continuing to do so because I've seen so much growth in how you respond to me. Even though sometimes I look at you like, what did I do for her to sound like that?
Look, and then and then her heart grew 3 times bigger that day.
Well, I can say that at least when I hear you talk in a way that makes me feel uncomfortable, where I feel like I'm typically just responding in a pessimistic way, I'm conscious of it now. So I don't respond that way on purpose. If I do, it's like I'm not realizing I'm doing it. But once I catch it, I'm like, I'm tripping. I don't say it out loud, but in my head, I'm like, I have to be more accountable for myself. And that's the reason why I enjoy this, because you keep me on my toes. For real.
He'd be like, I'm doing well. And I'd be like, there's more you could do. No, I don't say that. But probably my face looks like that sometimes. And I don't intend that to look that way.
But just listening to what you just said, if you even murmur you can do more, I don't know unless you say.
Yeah.
And I'll say, just like, how about this? In this last couple of weeks, Kanika has been trying to do this home improvement in her office, and we're removing the popcorn ceiling. Those of you that don't know, the popcorn ceiling is the ceiling that's just not smooth and
from the 80s, textured ceiling.
Yeah, and she felt like the person that gave an estimate was charging too much, so she wanted to see how it was, and she said it's easy. And I'm not going to say it's extremely difficult, but it's extremely time sensitive, time consuming, and it's tiring. And we're still going through the process of completing this room, but at the end of the day, like, I wanted her to know that, like, she doesn't have to do it by herself. And I want to help her complete these things because it's our house, you know, and I know you accepted this misimprovement thing, but at the end of the day, I'm supposed to support you in the things that you want to do. So that's the reason why I don't complain as much about things that I don't believe you should be doing. Like, because honestly, I was not on board. You know, it's so crazy. She's so scatterbrained. Like, she hasn't completed this task, but she's already on to the next task, and she's still mad about the current task.
I'm not mad about it.
Well, not mad, but, you know, it's not done.
No, but I lost steam because one of my equipment, it broke somehow. It got damaged, and so then I was like thinking of how else I could. Oh, I gotta go buy this again, and then you were like, no, why don't you just buy a chemical stripper? So then we get that, and then I try that. But thankfully I only tried it on like a quarter of the room. Half of it. Pretty much half of the room was already done, and the other half needed to be done. But I cut that in half and used the chemical stripper just to see how much easier it was. And it actually caused me more anxiety because I was worried about the stripper continuing to activate on the drywall, because that's what they said would happen. And so I was off the chain. But I look forward to finishing that up. I want it to be done so I can get my next piece of furniture into my office. I really do want to move everything up there. But, you know, yeah, so I figured I would just do it on this small room and then see what it was like. I'm not going to mess with any other room. My biggest concern was the living room, but we have one part of our living room is, I think, 12-foot ceilings. And then the next, it might be 10 or 12. And then it slopes up to 16, I think. And I'm not doing that.
Oh, I know.
And as far as it's a very wide, it's a large room. And so with the ceilings sloping up like that, and it looks like that in the dining room as well, that connects to the living room. It was just, I knew I couldn't do that. I was considering, though. I was like, if this is really easy, like it looks like on YouTube, I'm going to do it.
You know, I do want to say this to people. Like, people are good at what they do on, like for a reason. Like, they're on YouTube because they want to show you what it's supposed to look like when you know what you're doing.
No, but they'll say, you can do this at home. This is how you do it.
This is what we're doing right now. Like, we're having a conversation between parents, a relationship, and other parents and other households can't do it unless they practice. There's like, John and Kanika make it look so easy. Like, like, come on. Like, how easy was it to get to this point?
I understand what you mean. And it's like when somebody said, you have something wrong, you can't figure out what it is. You have a plumber come out and they come and they turn one thing and they charge you $75 and you're like, I could have done that. Yeah, but you're paying me for knowing what to do. And it was done quickly, but that was based on my knowledge, not on, just skill of knowing how to put a wrench on there and turn it. Anybody could do that, but you didn't know to do it.
Correct. And it cost $75.
Yeah, it cost $75
well, it
to
really
utilize
didn't cost that
my
much
expertise.
Because it was gas, his time, and all of this.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that's, I heard a different example where it was like a rocket ship and a guy came in and he knocked at one part and all of a sudden it all worked. And the guy was like, what? I'm not paying you all that money. He said, you didn't know where to knock.
I know that.
It's like, so give me my money. So yeah, it's trust me, there are things about the house that I'm like, it has to be somebody else that does that. Everything I look at, I'm like, I would like to know how. And I think my office is the best place for me to practice on things because it's away from everything. I think it should be the
only thing that you should work on. But look, I just want y'all to know. She was like, I really want to get to your room. No, you don't. You haven't even finished your room. I don't even know if I like what you're doing.
I tried to start there. He was like, hey, go up to your office.
No, but even after that, you was like, I was really thinking we should get to your room next. I'm like, I'm not in a rush. But she's in a rush and she's not even finished with her office. And I'm like, look, I'm going to help her complete this office. I don't know what it's going to look like. But whatever, even if it's awesome, it doesn't mean it needs to spread in the rest of the house because it's taking too long. And to me, I feel like I am not a home improvement artist. Neither do I want to be. I want to pay people to do those things, but you feel like you want to get into it, and I'm cool with that. But I feel like it's really time consuming. I feel like all the time that we're learning to improve a room the way that you want, we're not going to, I'm not ever going to get paid for it.
Well, yeah, true. But think about how quickly we can do other stuff once we learn how to do this.
But I think that somebody can do it in less time with less stress.
They can.
And that's the reason why we're working on our communication so that we can become so effective where people won't take advantage of us financially when they come to our home.
That part. I don't know about
that. Well, that's the way I'm thinking.
I know.
I'm like, if you're really good at something, prices won't be as high.
Yeah, we'll give you an update of what this room looks like.
Yeah. So transitioning into where we came from, what do you think it's going to look like a year from now? And the reason why I'm asking is because a lot of times we think about what would you tell your younger version of yourself? And I feel like, what is our older version going to say? Dang, I wish I would have known this. I should have done this. So a year from now, what are we going to say that we're glad that we talked about today so that it could develop by a year from now? What do you think that we should purposefully work on and be able to reevaluate and say, we actually completed those things? And then it's more like we have to be more organized with coming up with things that we want to do versus we're just going to wait for things to pop up. Mm-hmm. So what do you think could it take our relationship? Let's just talk about just you and me. Mm-hmm. And talk about parenting. Mm-hmm. Just talk about what would you like to see between you and I a year from now and be like, wow. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll let you think.
Yeah.
And this is what I want to see. There was a time where I didn't think about any of this, but I always thought about wanting to be the best husband. I was like, I'm going to buy her this. If I buy her this should buy me enough time to get to the next whatever I got to do. But I always thought about those things. And I know we talked about this in another podcast, but at some point in this year, I'm going to create an event for you. And the reason why I'm telling you this, because it's going to make me accountable. It's going to, everybody's going to, a year from now, it's like, what did you want to do? And I was like, typically when you give me a gift, it's like an event. It's like a whole experience. And I was like, I've never done that, nor did I ever think about doing that until the last 3 or 4 years. But I just wasn't in a place to do what I wanted to do. And the closest I got was with the help of Tracy.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I know. But all I did was provide finances. I didn't New Orleans was, I guess that was her idea too. She knew that too. And I was like, that'd be excellent.
She's like, Just step aside, sir. Hand me the dollars.
She did,
Yeah.
but that's what I want. I want to become a husband where it's not expected, but you appreciate the effort that I did to create that event, because I don't think you have enough events in your life and you to say like, because you know, I think I know the events that you really like. That was amazing, and I feel like you don't have enough of them, and I want to be responsible for creating a file cabinet of wows.
Mm.
That's one thing I want to do. Also, when we have a misunderstanding, I'm hoping that I can curb you in the way that you respond to me. Like I know, like I have a lot of bad habits where sometimes I say something a little short, or it may sound like it's filled with sarcasm because of my behaviors. But I want to get you, like, as I remove those, I want you to be able to be like, okay, he didn't mean it that way. He's told me over and over he is not trying to fight, and you catch yourself. And I know, like, I told you, I said I need you to work on that. But the faster I work, the faster you work. And even if you don't work, if I remove all of those things that make you sound like that, it'll correct the habit. So I want to do that. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say that?
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah, I don't ever want you to feel like anything I'm saying is chastising you or putting you in your place or saying something like it's like sounds stupid. Anything that's negative.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you've had all of those feelings with me, and I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to have like little to none of those. And I know it's going to happen, but at some point in one of these years, you're like, John, after such and such, you never did that anymore. And I'm impressed. And it makes me a better person overall too. Because the happier you are, I know that I did it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know I made you sad. I know I made you mad. It wasn't like you were sad and mad on your own. So the least I can do is try to wow you in the sense of waking up like, I am glad I get another day with this man.
Mm-hmm.
And I know at one time you felt like that, and I wasn't about a penny with a hole in it, But if you cover up the hole, it still was a penny.
Yeah, I couldn't buy nothing with it though. But that's nice. That's a nice goal.
Oh yeah.
I look forward. Hold on.
Somebody tired.
Oh my gosh, I cannot sleep. We'll talk about that later, the sleep quality. But I look forward to the events, and also continuing to improve the way we communicate with one another when things are a little
Unstable.
Yeah, like people ain't in their best place, For me, it would be being more present for 3 reasons. One, our last fight, we were watching a movie with our kids, and I did not want to watch this movie. But I'm sitting in the room with everybody, and I'm on my phone. John takes my phone out of my hand and throws it across the couch, and I was heated. And it never even crossed his mind. He's just like, we're all here together. We're just going to pay attention, blah, blah, blah. Y'all, I sat on that thing and I was mad. And we had a conversation, and it was an up and down conversation. And truthfully, it was pulling things from the past and things from, current stuff. And I really have to learn how to live in the current moment. If we've resolved issues in the past, they shouldn't find their way into my feelings currently and what we're doing. So that's one of the things I want. First, to be present in all the things we do together. But second, to be present in how I relate to you. Like those past things, we resolved it and now we're here. Why are those feelings still in there mingling with new things? It then it means you never resolved it. And so I want to be present in that way. I also this week I laid my cousin to rest, and he married my cousin, but I've known him since I was a baby. And so he's my cousin. And at his homegoing, the pastor was talking about quality over quantity, and he said, we don't know the quantity of days we have beyond this day, but we have full control and responsibility to make the day we have quality. And when I spoke to my cousin, she said, you know, they'd always had a great time with each other. But he had said, when our youngest is moved out and on her own, we're going to, you know, shift things into gear to spend more time together, do more things together, you know, really ramp it up. And, you know, parents say that a lot. It's like, once we get these kids settled, once the kids are, then we can go back to living. And the youngest just moved out. And then, you know, that time that they had wanted together, you know, they didn't know the quantity.
Yeah.
Right? And so when I think about listening to her talk, and I think to myself, there are many days that I'm half in a conversation because I'm thinking about work, or I'm scrolling through something, or my mind is floating somewhere else. And that's not just with you, that's with everybody. But I don't know my quantity. And so at this point, everything I do should be to improve our interaction, and I don't want to leave anything on the table. If there's anything on the table today on 11/11 that we can experience and have a good interaction and be able to go to bed with a smile on our face, I want to do that, because I don't know what I'm going to have left. And so being present and making that time quality time. Honestly, when we were sitting in here watching that movie last week, I felt like my physical body being here was enough, but it wasn't. And so that is what I want to be able to say next year on 11/11, to say, wow, Kanika, you were really paying attention more than you had ever done before. And look how much better things are, you know, because everything could be beautiful and wonderful, but there's always a level above it where it could get even better. And yeah, I look forward to that.
That, you know, I'm not gonna lie. The being present part is difficult.
Yeah.
You know, because it's difficult, and whatever I can do to help you be more present, I will want to. You know, I want to be the person you like. You know what? He helped me get to the very difficult things in life, and I appreciate, because I don't think I could have done that by myself or even known how to do it. Like, I want to be your compliment. Do you know what a compliment means? Have I said that to you before? Do you know what it means?
I do mathematically, but you have something else for me?
Well, compliment means you complete something.
Yeah.
And I know I say it like, you're my better half, but you do complete me. And you've completed me for so long. I just didn't know the parts that I was supposed to do. So I was just literally learning what I was supposed to do as your husband, and you know, being a man. And I really appreciate that. So with your I don't want to say weaknesses, but your challenges, I want to be there where you be like, you know what, he's going to help me get here. And I know before you used to ask me to help you, and I used to give you a hard time because I wanted you to do it my way. But now it's like, I just want you to find a way where it doesn't seem like the obstacle is that serious. And even if you fail the obstacle, but the recovery time of getting back on, because the worst part of an obstacle is the distance between you not being able to make it and you getting back on your feet to do it again. And when your getting back up becomes a short period of time, that means you're a lot closer to overcoming that. And I want to be a part of that process because I know how difficult it can be. And I'm here for you, like literally. Like I know that I talk about it a lot. And you know, while you were talking, I was thinking the people that listen to our podcast, I know that different things happen in everybody's household, but in our household, we are built on literally trying to not have those situations. Mm-hmm. And being present, it's hard. And I don't even know what to tell you where to start other than I was telling Peanut yesterday, you have to purposefully say, okay, I am working on this. Like, I know sometimes when I get lost in whatever I'm doing, there are things that I see that I'm distracted by. But you have to be aware, like, okay, I'm doing this too long, and you have to switch up on purpose. Because if you don't, you're still doing what you were doing before. And that increases the quantity of lack of quality. Mm. And listening to you talk about the quantity of days, we don't know how many more we got left. I don't look at it that way. I just look at, I want to give you quality. Because when you die, I want you to be like,
smiling is what he's doing right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm smiling. I want her to be like, you know, my life was better than I thought it was going to be. And me leaving is okay because I did everything I was supposed to do. Like when you feel like you've completed everything, it's almost like a retirement. When you see people like, dang, they should have retired. Mm. I don't want to get to the point where, or you get to the point where you like, you're not, you feel like you don't want to die, or you feel like you want to die. I want you to feel like I did everything I was supposed to do. It's time for me to go to the next stage or whatever this looks like. So when we can look at life like that, I think I just feel like people are watching our example as far as being in a relationship, and depending on our outcome, like a year from now, when you get there, there's going to be a different group of people that's listening. It was like, what did they do last year to get to this point? And I feel like as we continue to get better, people will be like, okay, I can do something like that. Like, what are they doing? And that's what I want to do. That's the whole purpose of this podcast, was to give a hand to relationships that want to get better on purpose. Because we didn't have the best examples. And ultimately, I said all of that is that I want to be a compliment and make you have a lot more quality days.
I'm going to be honest and say that he is really trying to work to be my compliment. I'm going to tell you why. I am very scatterbrained. And I will start a project in one place and end up in another place, I'll get everything done, but it's not in order. So it might be a whole bunch of stuff in disarray until I wrap it up. Whereas with him, he's so... You're just so focused on why are we not getting this done? But why are we not? You always point me back in the direction that I'm supposed to, what I originally said I was going to be. And I'm thankful for that because there are a lot of things that I start and I get frustrated with myself because I don't complete the task in an orderly manner, but I can't. My brain just won't let me do it. And you will refocus me. And I'm appreciative of that because, y'all, I'm tired of being in a dining room for work. So when this room is done, I'm gonna be super, super happy. But and I have lofty goals. And John be trying to bring me back, like, hey, can we just let's not think about all of that. Let's just do this one little thing. And it does help me. And, you know, I'm going to say the other thing about being present. I don't know how many people, like, you go through your day. I tend to wake up and I see that it's 6:50. I go brush my teeth. I go get dressed. to say goodbye to the kids, and then we go right out the door to go walk the dogs. Then we come in and I feed the dogs, and then I get on the computer to go to work. And then I'm between trying to work and then eat something. I take breaks, take the dog out, or I come, I play with them for a second. I go, and that's how my day goes consistently. And then at the end of the day, the kids come home, and then we have our debriefing with them, separately here, there, and everywhere. And then John gets off, and then we may walk the dogs, or we talk about what's for dinner. Like, my day doesn't really consist of a moment to sit in the moment. It doesn't, until we get to like Friday night when we're sitting there watching a movie. Or, yesterday I was like, we're going to go walk downtown and we're going to have ice cream and have dinner and stuff. And we ended up going over to Culver's and picking up 4 pints and coming home. But we all enjoyed our different ice cream. That was okay. But what I'm saying is that yesterday there was one moment before we went to Dallas's archery meeting, and I was laying on the bed and I wasn't scrolling through my phone. I never do that. However, I wasn't scrolling through my phone, and I just closed my eyes and I laid there, and I didn't fall asleep. That's the other thing. If I get a moment to not move, I fall asleep. In this moment, I was awake, but my eyes were closed, and I was fully aware that I was resting my body. And I was like, they tell you to do a body scan. How does your head feel? How does your neck feel? Going all the way down. And it was amazing to like take the moment to see where I was. And then I noticed I was uncomfortable. The way I sleep, it is so uncomfortable. I have a million different pillows trying to find that right spot. And I could even see when me laying there that I was all misaligned. I wasn't comfortable. And I really paid attention to my body. I started moving things around and shifting here and moving there. And I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And so even with my own physical being, not even in how I relate with you, my presence it's necessary. It makes me feel so much better. And so I think that that's probably going to be my theme for this year. And I don't take on themes for a year. This is just me saying this off the top of my head right now. But I think that my theme for this year is presence. And it's funny because just recently I bought a picture that is the inspiration for my room. And it said, be present, not perfect. Look at God. Anyway.
Won't he do it?
Yeah. But that's going to be my goal for this year.
Well, I want to help you, and I don't know what it looks like. And I've already thought about like just recently, just like in the last few minutes, like what could I do? But I'll probably look it up on ways that I could be helpful without telling you, like sound like a drill sergeant or whatnot. Or maybe you could come up with things to just remind you. I just want to touch on when you said, I remember you being in the bed because I was next to you, and I was like, she fell asleep. She gonna hate that she got to get up in a minute. But to hear you say that you weren't asleep, it was like, that's dope, because then I know that you dedicated time to yourself, because it's easy to fall asleep, and it's easy to be doing something. But when you can close your eyes, scan your body, and be present within yourself, that means you're giving yourself the time it deserves. So kudos to you, and hopefully.
Thank you.
Dang. Smell you very much. But yeah, I want to help you in any way possible. I guess that's all I had for this one. You got anybody you want to give a shout out to?
My cousin.
For sure. Oh yeah, I want to give a shout out to him too. I hate that I didn't know the information. I learned more information about him after he passed from you, and I hated that I didn't take the opportunity to develop a relationship the way that I would have wanted after speaking with you, because you just don't know what you have until it's gone. And now I'm like reviewing, like, what can I do increase or develop relationships so I can further progress myself and mature into a better man, because all of these people around us have all of this experience and knowledge, and I could use it.
He was a great man. And he told me, when I met John, I said, he's so great. He's this, he's that. He was like, hey, hold on. I was like, no, but really, he's this and he's this, and he doesn't even pressure me about blah, blah, blah. He was like, wait, Nika. He was like, pump your brakes. I said, I promise. He was like, I don't know. And he tried to save me.
He did, so I had the conversation, like, he was right.
Yeah.
He was absolutely right about me, but he was absolutely wrong. He just didn't know the perseverance Kanika had for me to get to the place where she wanted.
He was like, if you want to keep some of your edges, don't, Nika. No, but yes.
Yeah, shout out to him and his family and anybody impacted by his departure.
So many.
But y'all make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. GATA, get after that action, or that action will get after you. Boom.